Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel Ratliff, and today I'm going to be comparing Universal Studios Orlando and Walt Disney World. I am a silver annual pass holder at Disney, and I recently went to Universal. I bought a pass back in February, where if you bought a one-day, two-park pass, paid that price, it came to under $200 for that. It was like $190 after tax, I think. It could actually get you in 4 times for 2 parks. So yeah, I bought that back in the middle of February, and it was good until the end of April. I had no blockout dates. I could go 4 times from the date of purchase until the end of April. So I recently went to Universal and checked it out quite a bit. So I decided to compare the 2 parks. I'm gonna compare prices, rides, how each park's dealing with COVID. I'm gonna be comparing a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna try my best to explain because I'm not the best at explaining stuff. So we'll see how I do. I hope you guys can keep up, follow along, because yeah, I'm just all over the place sometimes. But I'm gonna start with price. So I have my little notepad right here because I would not remember this without this. So I looked up all these prices on April 29th or 30th. It is currently May 3rd. I finally had a day to sit down and do this video. So I don't know how often prices change with the parks. Obviously, during the holidays, they probably go up. I'm not for sure, but that's my guess. And each year, I'm sure they go up some. This is current prices as of right now. So depending on when you're watching this video, it might not be accurate, but I'm gonna start with Universal for a 1-day, 1-park ticket. So this only gets you there. Universal says they have 3 parks, but I'm not gonna count Volcano Bay because Disney also has water parks and I'm not including those. So I'm just comparing the 2 parks, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. They do have like a 3-park ticket where you can get in the water park, but like I said, I'm leaving the water parks out because if I try to do all that, it's just gonna get way too complicated for me to deal with right now. So for a Universal 1-park 1-day ticket is $109. For Disney, for a 1-park 1-day ticket is $109. So they're the same, but they definitely are gonna vary as I go on. So for a Universal 2-park 1-day ticket, so this is, you can go back and forth between the Universal Studios park side and the Islands of Adventure side. And this is how you will get on the Hogwarts train, Hogwarts Express. You can't ride this without park hopping because you have to have your ticket to show so they can scan it because the train takes you from one park to the other. So for a 2-park 1-day ticket is $164. And Disney for a park hopper pass is $174. So the park hopper pass is a little different right now. They just recently started doing park hopper again. With Disney, there's a reservation system. So before you could park hop, you could go any park you wanted and switch anytime you want. But now with the reservation system, say I have a reservation for Magic Kingdom, I have to go to that park first and I can't park hop until after 2. Once it's after 2, I can go to any park I want as long as they're not at capacity, which I've parked hopped quite a bit recently and I haven't had a problem with it. So there is that. So I'm gonna just compare though the 1-park ticket at Universal and the 1-park ticket at Disney for now because I feel like that's just the simplest to do. So for a 2-day 1-park ticket at Universal, it comes down to $106.50 a day. Both Disney and Universal, the more days you go, the cheaper it gets per day. So I do like that they do this. For a Disney 2-day 1-park ticket is $107. So only a 50 cents difference there. But then for a 3-day 1-park ticket at Universal is $77.67 per day. And Disney is $105 per day. So that is actually a pretty significant difference. So then for a 4-day one park ticket is $61.75 at Universal, and for a 4-day one park ticket at Disney is $103. So Disney's only going down by a couple bucks per day. But then when we hit day 5, so for a 5-day one park ticket at Universal is $51.80, and 5 days at Disney is $88. And this is per day, by the way. Like, I think I said that before, but it's not $88 for 5 days. Like, that would be great, but $88 per day for 5 days. So Disney did make a little drop there, but Universal is still significantly lower. And then when I was looking at, Universal did not let me go past 5 days, so I don't know if it stops getting cheaper after 5 days, like if $51.80 is it or not. I'm not sure, but that, when I was on the site, was all it would let me go to was 5 days. So Disney keeps going to 10 days. For 6 days, it's $75 per day. 7 days is $67 per day. 8 days is $61 per day. 9 days is $56 per day. And 10 days is $52 per day. So 5 days at Universal is $51.80, and you actually have to go 10 or more days at Disney to get about the same price per day. So Universal is a little cheaper there. But also, when I say one park though, at Universal, you can get into both parks. If you're going 5 days, you don't have to go to one park. Like, you can go to each park, but you just can't go the same day. So day 1, maybe you're going to the Universal Studios side. Day 2, the Islands of Adventure side. When you're paying for the 2-park ticket, you can go back and forth during the day between the parks. And Disney, same thing. They have 4 parks: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. If you're going 4 days, you can go to each park even though you only have a 1-park ticket, because it's just 1 park per day. So the Park Hopper lets you go to 2 parks in a day, or I don't know if you can go to more than 2 parks right now or not. Not positive on that, so I'm not going to answer that since I'm not sure. But, okay. And also with the pricing, I'm going to move on kind of to the fast passes. So Disney is not doing fast passes right now. I don't know when they will start again. Just like annual passes, I'm not comparing annual pass prices right now because Disney is not selling any to new people. If you don't currently have an annual pass, you cannot get one. Even if you're a Florida resident, they are not selling them, unfortunately. So I was fortunate enough to have an annual pass before 2020 happened. But Universal does sell passes. So for a 1-park express pass, it comes to $89.99 per person per day. And if you're doing the 2-park ticket, the express pass is just $10 more, $99.99 per day per person. Disney's, what I liked about them when they were doing the fast passes is they did not cost any additional money. You're paying a lot of money to be at the parks in the first place, especially if you're taking like a week-long vacation between food, hotel, and stuff. It is pretty expensive. It can add up quick. So to buy fast passes each day on top of that is crazy. If you have like a family of 5, a family of 10, like that's a lot of money to pay just on fast passes. But if you have the money to do it, for Universal, I mean, it is kind of worth it. Like the line, you won't wait in lines a lot, but that to me is just a lot of money. That me and my mom, I wish we would have done it one day at least, just so I could see truly the difference. But we went 4 days, so there's $200 a day for both of us total. So yeah, on top of what we paid for the tickets. So, and also we had to pay to pay $26 a day to park at Universal when we went. But Disney, when they did have fast passes, it allowed you to get 3 fast passes at a time. You can book it, I forget how long before you actually come down here, but it was months in advance for your fast passes. You could get 3 fast passes, and then once you're in the park and you actually use one of those fast passes, you could go on the app and get another fast pass. Usually by then the good rides are all gone though, so unless you get lucky. So it's not like you're gonna ride like the 3 biggest rides with those fast passes. that's not how it worked. But you did have an opportunity to get a fast pass for at least a few rides and avoid waiting in those lines. But personally, I kind of like Disney without fast passes right now because it just slows the line down for the people waiting in line when they air fast passes. And I get like that's why you have fast pass. But when I go to Disney, I have had friends come down here recently, and we actually could ride pretty much everything without any fast passes. The lines move pretty quickly. I don't think we waited over an hour for anything. Usually when the wait time says 60 minutes, it takes about 45 on average. With my experience at Disney, I have not seen anything get over 90 minutes. I'm not there every day to know if it does or not, but 90 minutes is about the highest I've seen it. And before COVID, I would see lines get to about 3 hours long, and that's because one, the capacity was higher, there's more people, and two, the fast pass lane was open, so that's slowing the regular line down. Universal, I did see a couple rides get up to 120 minutes. I did wait about 2 hours for the Kong ride, and it didn't even say it was going to take that long. So without the fast pass, I would say Disney right now I can end up riding more than I did at Universal in one day. But that's just my take on it. Next, I'm going to move on to the bag system. This is just a small topic. At Disney, you can take a book bag basically on any roller coaster, Expedition Everest, Rock and Roller Coaster. You just put it between your legs. You can pretty much carry anything onto the ride and store it on the ride. Universal is a lot pickier on this, so you have to put your bags in lockers before you get on a ride on most rides. The Hawk and Rip Ride Rocket, you have to check everything in a locker, even your phone, which I'm not a fan of this personally, because you have to put it before you get in line, so if the line's like an hour or two long, and you need to get a hold of someone and you're in line that long without your phone, it kind of stresses me out, but that's me personally. So that's my only complaint about Universal. And the bags, you can't take a book bag on most rides, and even like a small crossbody. They let my mom take her small crossbody on the Hagrid's ride one time, but the next trip we went, she had the same exact bag. They made her put it in a locker. So fanny packs, I carried that the last 2 times I went, and I didn't have to check it for anything but the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket and Hawk. And I suggest if you don't have a lot to carry to do this. But yeah, so there's one big difference I would say from Disney and Universal is that the lockers and the rides and taking your bags, like I said, Disney pretty much lets you take anything. Next, I am going to talk about how each park is dealing with COVID. So when you're in line, they both have the same tape down for keeping your distance. It's all 6 feet apart. They're all marked the same between Disney and Universal. But I would say Disney definitely follows the rules better on this. The first time I went to Universal when I was just after COVID, I was just kind of unfamiliar with the park and it was chaotic. I remember being in line. Sorry, I have the hiccups. I remember being in line for the Hawk, and the ride kind of broke down for a couple minutes, and my mom and I were on our mark before and left space between us, and we literally had people pointing at us and wondering why we weren't moving up. They were on top of each other. It was ridiculous, honestly, but I will say this is the only ride I had that bad of an experience with. Like, I don't know what was in the air over there, but everyone was on top of each other, and it was just a little claustrophobic for me. But then all the rides I went to Harry Potter, like over at Harry Potter, and even all the other rides I did, you know, not everyone follows the mark, but that you have that everywhere, but it was more spread out. I will say Disney workers, cast members, are a little more strict on the mask, that if they see someone with their mask down, they'll tell them to pull it up, and I'm not opposed to this. I'm fine with this. And at Universal, people walking around with their mask down, I've seen them pass, I don't know if they call them cast members or what they call their employees. They don't say as much, and I'm not getting on the employees for this because there's been people that are really mean about just getting told to put their mask up. Comparing them, yes, Disney is better at having people keep their mask up. I didn't feel unsafe at either park though. I always knew to keep my distance and just do me. So yeah, but they have kind of the same rules. Like, you're not supposed to be at either park eating like with your mask down, walking around eating. You're supposed to be stationary for it. So I would say Disney has my vote on safety though for COVID. I just feel a little safer at Disney with the COVID situation, but like I said, I don't feel unsafe at either park. I just think that Disney does a better job at enforcing the rules. So, okay, next I am going to move on to comparing the rides between the 2 parks at Universal and the 4 parks at Disney. My first time I went to Universal, I didn't get to ride much, but I did go on the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and I thought that was one of the most coolest things. So yeah, after that, I was like, oh my god, we have to go back to Universal. They have way better rides than Disney. Like, we need to go back. After going back 4 times, I will say, between Disney and Universal, I don't know who has better rides. I don't have an opinion on that because Universal has a lot of rides that are like motion simulators, or like where you're kind of moving but it's screen. They have a lot of those rides. So the only 2 roller coasters they really have are the Hawk and the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. They also have the Velocicoaster though that just opened up, but I have not, well, it's not open for everyone yet. I think the official like opening date is sometime in June, but I know there's been a lot of people that have been able to preview it, and I've heard it's very good. So they have, let's say, 3 big roller coasters, but I'm not counting the Velocicoaster in this video since it's not technically open yet, and it was not open when I was there. So I will say, starting out, Universal between the 2 parks has 6 rides that you have to be 48 inches tall or over. Disney has 1 ride that you have to be 48 inches tall or over, and that is Rock and Roller Coaster, one of my personal favorites. The tallest you have to be for any of the rides at Universal is 54 inches tall, and that is for the Incredible Hulk coaster. So if you have kids, there's definitely going to be more, depending on what age there's going to be more rides at Universal that they cannot do. So this is kind of hard to compare because Disney has 4 parks and Universal only has 2. So ride-wise, I really can't compare. But I will say Universal has more intense rides for kids, and when I say intense, I don't mean like fast and upside down like thrill coasters. I mean like rides personally that if I was a little girl and I went and rode these as a kid, I'd be scared. Even like Haunted Mansion scared me when I was very little at Disney. So like the Kong coaster, it's a little intense because Kong's coming at you and like dinosaurs are like eating each other and that kind of stuff. That would have scared me when I was little. So that's what I mean when I say they have a lot of more intense coasters. The screens and stuff, like in the movies, like people are coming at you. So personally, I would probably be more scared of these rides when I was little. There's not as many as I would have been scared at Disney. So yeah, thrill ride wise, I would honestly say it's about a toss up. I don't know if everyone would agree with this, but Disney has Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Space Mountain, and what I forget, Expedition Everest. Those I would say are the top thrill rides there. And then they have a lot of other roller coasters that are less intense, like the Barnstormer is a really little roller coaster. And then Thunder Canyon, Big Mountain Thunder Canyon. That is another fun roller coaster, but it's not as intense. So like younger kids can ride it. So yeah, I would say they have 4 thrill rides like that are really like good thrill rides, and Universal has, I would say, about the same. Hagrid's is really good. The Hulk is, I personally was not a fan of the Incredible Hulk coaster, only because the bars go over your head, and I really hit my head hard on, like, I don't know. So I did not have a good experience on it, but it is a big thrill ride. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket was a good one. I wish I would have gotten to ride that again. A lot more smooth. So ride-wise, I don't know if I would say Disney's better or Universal is better. It's really hard to compare the two. I'm calling it a tie between Disney and Universal for the rides, but honestly, again, personal preference. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the reservation system. Universal does not have a reservation system, Disney does. So they both have to have capacity though. Like obviously they can't have 100% capacity. I don't even know how often the parks hit 100% capacity. I know they didn't hit it every day. I believe both parks are at like 35% capacity or somewhere around that. So Universal, for both parks, you don't have to have a reservation. If I had a ticket and I wanted to go tomorrow, I could do that. But if they do hit capacity at any point of the day, you have to wait, I believe, in line basically to get in the park until more people exit. So if it hits capacity, there's no guarantee you could even get in, depending on how many people are ahead of you that want in. But I went in the morning. I got there I got there at like opening or like half an hour after opening, and I did not have a problem at all. I would say I kind of like that about Universal, but if I wanted to go at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it was full, my chances of getting in are not as good as if I wanted to go at 3 o'clock at Disney. I have a reservation. I'm guaranteed to get in no matter what time it is if I have a reservation. But Disney, you do have to have a reservation system. You have to have a reservation. I definitely don't get to go to Disney as much as I used to before the reservation because of making them. It's sometimes hard to get reservations, sometimes not. It honestly just depends on what time of the year it is. Yes, I would wish that the reservation system was not a thing, but I like how the parks are right now. Kind of, I get to do more when I am there, so kind of evens out. Yes, I would hope the reservation goes away at some point, but I'm fine with it for now until they figure out a way to do that. So I don't have a complaint about that. But if you wanted to buy a Disney ticket for tomorrow, your chances of getting a reservation might not be as good as you just going in the morning to Universal and getting in. So there is that. But like I said, being a pass holder, we go a lot in the afternoon or even sometimes after my mom gets off work or something. So our chances, if we have a reservation, of getting into Disney are a lot better. Plus the drive for us to go to Disney is easier than getting to Universal. So there's also that of why we go to Disney more and why we have annual passes there and not Universal. As an annual pass holder, I can only get 3 reservations at once. So say I was going tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that, I couldn't get another reservation till after tomorrow once it's gone. And chances are I'm not going to get a reservation for 3 days in a row, especially if I would try to get on right now. But there is that. But if you're staying at a resort or like have tickets for, if you have 5-day tickets, you don't have to only have 3 reservations at once. If you bought day tickets and it's 5 days, you're going to be able to get as many reservations as tickets you have, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I hope I am doing an okay job explaining. I feel like, again, I'm not the best explainer. I'm not a Disney expert or a Universal expert. I definitely know more about Disney than I do Universal. So again, I'm not an expert. I'm just comparing the two, my opinion mostly, and just, yeah. So, okay, so I think I covered everything I was going to compare. These are just things I came up with to compare. Like I said, I'm not a Disney expert or a Universal expert. Definitely not a Universal expert. So yeah, I hope you guys were able to follow along. I know I'm not the best at explaining. This is, I think, my first video where I'm just sitting down talking to you guys. So I hope you guys liked it. I hope it answered any questions you have. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.